Hello, my name is Steve, and welcome to Unboxing the Boxes, the Star Wars Collection. This is episode 11, My Millennium Falcons. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Unboxing the Boxes, the Star Wars Collection. As you may have heard, Target and Disney have formed an alliance that will bring merchandise from a galaxy's edge to a Target store near you. That's right. This will begin on August 30th, but pre-sales have already begun. One of the major items of this alliance is a Smuggler's Run edition of the Millennium Falcon. The cost of this hunk of junk? Only 400 credits. Or dollars if you live outside of Galaxy's Edge. This is a pretty big price tag as far as I'm concerned. But it did give me an idea for a video. So I've decided that I should show you the Millennium Falcons that I've accumulated over the years. At least most of them. There's probably a few others hidden that I haven't found yet. But before I go on and show you this stuff, I'd like to invite you to like the video, to share the video. I've noticed the numbers have been declining a bit as far as views go, so I invite you to share it and let others know what we're doing here. And of course, subscribe, because the more subscribers we have, the more I feel I should keep making these videos. So, with that out of the way, let's get started with this. This is an unauthorized version of the Millennium Falcon. This is the little thing that taught me you do not buy stuff off of Facebook. Because Facebook had an ad for what looked like they had a picture of the $700 Millennium Falcon for a ridiculously low price, which should have been my number one warning. But I decided to take a chance at it because everything I read sounded as if it was the big thousands piece Millennium Falcon. And this is what I got. It's a very low-key, off-brand, not even real Legos. It's an off-Lego thing. As you can see, it's nowhere near thousands of pieces. Luckily, I still overpaid for it, but yeah, well, what can I say? I made a mistake. Beware Facebook Target ads, because they're not always what they or what they say they're going to be. But anyway, just thought I'd start off with that. It's not too bad a Millennium Falcon as far as cheap Millennium Falcon sets go, but not too bad. So let's get that off to the side here and move on to real Lego Millennium Falcons, at least the little ones. Legos came out with a couple of microfighters in the Millennium Falcon. This one features Chewbacca as the pilot. And there is another one which features Han as the pilot, Han Solo. One is 94 pieces, one is 92 pieces, so not a whole lot of difference there. The shape of the Millennium Falcon is slightly different from one to the other. I don't know if you can see that. So, and as you can see, I have not opened them and put them together yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to. I'm one of those collectors that likes to keep things in the boxes, although these do kind of look like fun to put together. So, there's two real Millennium Falcons. I do not have the $700 Millennium Falcon Lego set. Maybe someday, but that someday has not arrived yet. The Millennium Falcon is not only put together as puzzles and so forth, there are also games that involve the Millennium Falcon. And this is one of those games. It's a space shooter game. I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember this. This was from back in 1996. Basically what it did is you had the Millennium Falcon, which was actually kind of a gun in the shape of a Millennium Falcon, and it shot these little foam discs. And if you didn't have enough with the kit that came with, you could buy an extra set that you could wear and keep filling up your Millennium Falcon gun or your blaster until you ran out, and then had to go collect them again. But of course, if you have this, and this, you need somebody to play against, right? And who better to play against than the Empire? So, of course, they had to come out with another version of the blaster gun, which shot a different color disc, so that way you keep track of who's shooting who. I did have a couple of these, and I gave my extras away for Christmas one year to a nephew who was big into Star Wars at that time. But anyway, I thought these would be kind of fun to show you a little bit. The Millennium Falcon as a game, a shooter-up game that you could play with your friends. Of course, if we're talking the Millennium Falcon, you gotta have the Millennium Falcon carrying case. You know, the carrying case for all your action figures. And this one was kind of neat, and the main reason I bought it was because it had a Wedge action figure. It's the only way you could get that action figure. There again, I have not opened it up, but you can see Wedge in the cockpit there. He's not carded, but he is packaged. So that's kind of neat. It actually has a bunch of details on it, as you can see. So not bad. So, the carrying case, Millennium Falcon. The next item I'm going to show you is something I would be willing to bet most of you have not seen. It is kind of old, and it is the Millennium Falcon CD-ROM playset. That is right, you got a CD-ROM that you could put into your computer and put this on your computer and use it to play as if you are in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. There again, one of the main reasons I bought it is it had an action figure of Han Solo. I actually bought this one at a Comic-Con down in the Twin Cities. So I did not have this until just a few years ago. As you can see, I only paid 20 bucks for it, so not too bad. The game did come with a CD-ROM, the Millennium Falcon playset, and the unique Han Solo action figure. I have not opened this up and played it. In fact, I would be willing to bet I'm not going to be able to use it because this was designed for Windows 95. So that kind of tells you how long ago this was. In fact, if I look at the date on this thing, if I can find it, oh, there it is. This one is 1998. Oh, this is kind of cool. I didn't even notice this. It has different planets you can go to for your action. One thing I kind of liked about this is not only did it have the cockpit, but it also had one of the gunner turrets, which of course in the movie was not next to the Millennium Falcon, but of course we have to make exceptions when we are making the toys like this. So why don't you put in the comments if you've ever seen this, or if you even have this in your collection. It would be real interesting to see how many of you actually played with this one. I have no intention of opening it, and besides, I have all Macintosh in my house, so I wouldn't even be able to play this if I wanted to, because I don't have Windows 95. So let me know what you think about this one. Moving on. One of the things that's kind of fun if you have a Millennium Falcon would be to have a Millennium Falcon that flies. Yes, and a few years ago, there was one that you could buy. Yes, there was airhogs.com, and they made a drone in the shape of a Millennium Falcon. Now this one I actually did open. This one had to be open to play with. So I did open it. Or did I not? Oh, there we go. Okay. It's not very big. It's only that big, and it's basically made out of foam. As far as the looks of it goes, everything is painted onto the foam. Not too bad for detail, considering how small it is and that what it's made out of. But it did have a little Star Wars Airhogs controller. And I did fly this around the house a little bit and found out I need a lot of practice with drones. I'm not very good with drones. I do not think I would want to take this outside because this is very, very light. I could just see a little bit of wind and whoosh, off it goes, never to be seen again. So kind of something interesting and unique. I happened to pick up 2 of these because they were on closeout at Walmart. And I opened one and kind of kept the other one in the box. So there it is, the Air Hogs Millennium Falcon drone. Now we get into the main Millennium Falcons. These are the actual 3.5-inch figure Millennium Falcon playsets. Or maybe I should say vehicles. The first one is the Force Awakens version of the Millennium Falcon. And you'll notice this one comes with 3 action figures. It has Finn, Chewbacca, and BB-8. So kind of neat that you got 3 action figures along with it. You'll also notice, if you look at the back here, it does actually have the square radar dish. Folds open so that you can play inside. And yeah, it's actually kind of neat. The guns actually do shoot, as you can see here. It's not too bad, fairly big, good sized one. Not the biggest though. There is a bigger one. Let's see what the next one is. The next one is from the Star Wars Trilogy collection. This one is an electric one, has electric lights and sounds. Notice it has the round radar dish because this was before the sequel trilogy. No special action figures with this one. It was just the Millennium Falcon. And as you can see, this one also had shooters that you could shoot out and fire at different things. It had lights in the back so that you could really pretend that it's taken off into hyperspace. So very nice looking. You can see it's fairly detailed. Not bad at all. Almost tempted to open this one up to see what it's like inside, but I didn't. You know me, I like to keep it in the box, which I know some of you don't agree with, but that's how I do it. Oh, by the way, I bought this one on sale. It was normally $59.99. When I bought this one, it was on closeout for 30 bucks. Not a bad deal at all, I don't think. Sometimes you just gotta wait long enough to get those deals, but the problem with that is sometimes those deals don't stick around long, and by the time you get to the store, they're all gone already. Time for the last one. This one is the first Millennium Falcon I bought. It is the Power of the Force Millennium Falcon. This is the biggest one out of the batch, or at least it's the biggest box. See, I just barely look over this one. But yeah, this one is another electric version. 4 real movie sounds with this one. I don't know, looks pretty detailed. I don't think this one shot though. It didn't shoot little things out. But there again, not too bad as far as detail goes. Made for the 3.5-inch action figures, so you could open it up and have the action figures play around inside. Did come with a few other ships at that time for the Power of the Force. I don't know, I kind of like this one. Someday I should open it. This is from 1995, by the way. So, Power of the Force Millennium Falcon action vehicle. Well, there are my... Oh, wait. There's one more. You may have noticed it in the background here. This one is from way back. This is 1979. This is actually a model kit of the Millennium Falcon that way back when I started to put together, never finished. This one is open. So we can open up the box here. Still have my instruction booklet on how it gets put together with all the handy dandy instructions, of course. I did get a fair amount put together, but of course not all of it. It did have landing gear in it that you could actually retract into the ship. And you hear a lot of noise. That's because this one was also electric. If you open it up, you can see we got some wires here so that we could actually have lights coming out the back of the Millennium Falcon. You can see some of the landing pads I still needed to put into its proper place. That's kind of what's making the noise. I should probably just take them out. But, hey, you can see it's not too bad. Heck, I have a feeling these aren't any good, but I still have the paints I was going to use to paint the thing with. And I still have the glue in here, which after 40 years, I have a feeling this glue probably isn't any good anymore. And yes, we did have the round radar dish with this, of course, because we didn't have a choice. And we even have a clear cockpit door that would go in there so that you could have lights behind it and kind of shine into the cockpit. So, my oldest Millennium Falcon that maybe someday I will have to sit down and actually finish putting together and painting. And maybe if I do, I will have to have another video showing the completed thing, but if I was you, I wouldn't hold my breath for that. So there we go. Now you've seen pretty much my Millennium Falcon collection. Like I said, I put this little video together just because Target and Disney are forming their alliance. It would be nice to have the Smugglers Run Millennium Falcon to add to my big action figure vehicle collection, but like I said, I don't know if it's worth $400. I might wait for the sales. Yeah, and why would that be $400 when this one was only $60 in the stores? Now, granted, that was a number of years ago. Probably be closer to $100 now. But really, $400? Oh, well, I'm not the one who sets the prices. I'm just a purchaser, and that's a little steep for my blood. So, there is my Millennium Falcon collection. How many of these do you have? Write down in the comments. Let me know which ones you have, or even post a picture in the comments and let me see which ones you have that I don't have, because I know there's a lot of them I'm missing. So I hope you've liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Click the like button. Subscribe for more of these videos. Like I said earlier in the video, the numbers have been kind of going down as far as the views goes, and if that keeps happening, well, maybe I won't keep making them. But if this one does good, it'll get me charged up again to keep going with them. So, may the force be with you, and keep collecting!